It's 3 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to Cannabis Legalization News, where we explain marijuana laws so you can change them. What's going on, guys?
Yo, what's up?
Oh, I was on a different podcast, and they're like, "Hey, move your mic up." You know, it's one of those silly things. But it's been another wonderful week in cannabis legalization news. You know,
yeah. Hey, how about?
Okay. Go ahead. Well, my lead story is different than the lead story we have, but talk about our lead story first.
What's your lead story?
I am gone right now. I am on a plane to Tumble, California, and it's actually Garberville, so that I can get not only my training but also my certification as a ganjier. So hopefully, when I fly back in about a week, I will be a certified ganjier, and then I will be extra super helpful and not necessarily snooty when it comes to it's like when you hear of a sommelier, I kind of think snooty. I do, but. Snooty, like you know your shit, snooty.
That's kind of how we walk into a pot shop now, anyways. But I mean, I know more than you.
Yes,
I think you're gonna, dude. You're gonna have a fan.
I think you know more than me about this next one. Like, what's our lead story for the week?
So, daily use of the cannabidiol CBD oil may be linked to lung cancer regression by EurekAlert.
I tell you, this is one of those things we have to be careful on. We're talking about like specific chemicals and specific, treatments. And so the FDA might be like, whoa, hang on about that. Be careful. But daily use of CBD may be linked to lung cancer regression, according to EurekAlert.
It may be worth exploring further the use of cannabidiol CBD oil as a potential lung cancer treatment, suggests doctors in BMJ case reports after dealing with a daily user whose lung tumor shrank without the aid of conventional treatment. So, I mean, cannabis is medicine, dude. I mean, it's been known and proven.
That's why we're so far. Cannabis is medicine. That's why we're here. Otherwise, if cannabis wasn't medicine, the legalization movement would not have gotten this far. They wouldn't have.
Well, and I wonder too, because it's proven that cannabis does help some cancers, and I wonder obviously if CBD is a big player in that. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy who reads the news.
Well, yeah, but there it is. Cannabidiol has been reported as perhaps a lung cancer treatment. Now, that's one of those deals where you need the FDA to then start, saying that that's a thing. Otherwise, you're not allowed to make these types of claims. But there it is from the BMJ case reports. Lung cancer patient who had declined conventional cancer treatment could be the self-administration of CBD oil or be contributing to the observed tumor regression. Somebody really putting themselves on the line. And so this was the body's own endocannabinoids are involved in various processes, including nerve functions, emotions, energy metabolism, pain, inflammation, sleep, and immune function. And therefore, a cancer diagnosis may be something being out of whack with that endocannabinoid system.
As we talked about before, the endocannabinoid system is entwined in our body, and more people need to talk about it. This is why cannabis is so helpful to us, and on so many levels. We don't have a cocaine system. It's an endocannabinoid, which is produced by cannabis.
Well, let's talk about
chemicals.
I was going to say, let's talk about the instance, because this is, of course, anecdotal. But who was the person that whose data reported this shrinking of the tumors? She was an 80-year-old British woman with non-small cell lung cancer, mild chronic obstruction pulmonary disease (COPD), osteoarthritis, and high blood pressure, for which she was taking various drugs. She was a smoker, getting about a pack plus of cigarettes a week, 68 packs in a year. So it's not quite a pack year, but anyway, her tumor was 41 millimeters in size at diagnosis. And then she underwent a CT scan every 3 to 6 months while doing her CBD therapy. And over the course of those 3 to 6 months, the tumor went from 41 millimeters in June of 2018 down to 10 millimeters by February of 2021, and overall shrinkage of 76%.
Damn, that's just amazing. But again, this is one allegory story. There's many, right? Rick Simpson. There's a whole movement based off of one guy's. I think it was cancer he was fighting.
Yeah. Well, this is our lead story, and we're going to get through it. But then at the same time, the second lead story that came out was something that kind of almost goes against this types, and then it's not all types of cancer that may be helped through cannabinoid treatments. And so, she's been taking the CBD. When she contracted her cancer, she revealed she'd been taking CBD oil as an alternative self-treatment for lung cancer since August of 2018. Consistently took 0.5 milligrams of the oil 3 times daily, sometimes twice daily. So 0.5 milligrams, I'm sorry, I apologize. It was milliliters. So 0.5 milliliters is substantially more than 0.5 milligrams. I want to say 0.5 milliliters is like 500 milligrams, but I am not from Canada. Miggy, are you from Canada?
What do you mean, eh?
Okay, so please explain to us how much in American is 0.5 milliliters.
0.5 milliliters. That's what Google's for, my friend.
Ah, yes, I've forgotten.
2 milligrams is 25 milligrams. So it's a 1-to-1. Interesting. There are 25 milligrams of the drug in each one. Oh, my bad. 25 milligrams in 1 milliliter. So that is 125 milligrams. Wow.
There you go. So she was taking a medical dose of CBD, which of course is psychoactive. So she may have just felt a little bit more calm. And again, the people that have published a study point out that this is just one case report, and it's not a complete actual science. And then that's the thing. In our second large story of the week, I'm not sure if this is somewhere else in it or if it was just from what Berner reported from Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So, CBD may end up shrinking lung cancer tumors, or this is just one instance. But Berner disclosed that he had been diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, I saw that on his Instagram post. He came out about it's time to fight, and talking about how he's trying to get cookies and his whole team. I mean, I gotta give props to the guy. He's created as much as I think cookies is almost about to have market too much in the market. You'll see this when you get to the Ganjier. Cookies is everywhere, predominant, right? And I'm like, why is cookies the one that we're premiering here when you're being all these great teachers and whatnot? But the Berner, he put that message out as far as like, hey, I've created these. I think he's had a phenomenal run at it, and he's going to release a new freaking album. He released a new thing with John Gotti, some press thing, but he's still at it. But yeah, he announced that he has cancer and he's going to be fighting it. Do you think he's going to be using cannabis to help treat it?
I think absolutely, but he says that he's going to be focusing on a whole food, plant-based diet. I wonder if he had been doing that previously. And he says absolutely no stress in his life. That's really difficult to do. You are the face of the largest cannabis brand in the world. That is stressful. And so he needs to practice stress mitigation therapies and stuff like that. Are you doing your yoga and your breath work and your meditations? Are you trying to keep things in perspective, just not letting it get to you? But then if you do that, do you get worse at business? Is business a lot of, there's that opportunity, take it. And I think business, a lot of that is,
Well, I mean, it could be a crossroads for him too. I mean, it's not like he has to keep doing cookies. He could just, say, hey, that's why he did a post. He created a thing that is actually paying people's bills. I think that's amazing when you've created this, and for lack of a better word, empire. Yep. It's a huge thing. I know people who love and die by cookies, just like people die name brands. It's never been my thing, but it's cool to see that people like your stuff. And I've never heard bad stuff about it. It's always fanboy stuff, which is cool. Yep. But it's different.
Yeah, and then Berner goes on to stress that if cancer's ever been in your family, he encourages you to get a blood test. That's how he got a blood test. It checked for over 40 different types of cancer, and it showed that he had one. So talk about catching it early. If you can catch it when you are still not even aware that you have it, it has to be really, really early. If it hasn't started to manifest like painful types of symptoms where you might have caught it 6 months, 9 months, 12 months later, That's fantastic. And she and not she, and then Berner wraps up. I'm extremely grateful to have such an amazing family and support system and team at Cookies. I love you guys. It's time to fight. Man. And so, that Berner uses the highest quality and grade cannabis in the world. And so even then you can still get cancer.
Well, and again, the cancer, we're not doctors here, but as activists who've been hearing this thing, right? Like, this amazing plant does help fight cancer. There is proven in the NIH. There's patents for it being an pressure reliever,
right? An antioxidant, neuroprotectant. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all of those anti-inflammatory. There's all of those types of things, but the body is an exceedingly complex organism.
Exactly.
And then the inputs that you put into your, I don't know what Berner was eating for the past 30 years.
Dude,
I know that he didn't look like he would take his shirt off if he was going to the pool. And so, like, I don't know what his fitness and health regimen was. And everybody gets their own life. It's okay. Because then a fit guy can also get cancer. Like, it almost seems like it's a game of craps. It's just like, oh, you got that. Oh, crap. Oh, geez. Yeah, well, that was the random odds. Ah. Man,
but see, that's yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like Berner, this well-respected,
wealthy dude,
caught cancer. But yeah, it's just a random. But see, that's the thing about like any prohibition too, is like that would help reduce the stupid shit that we face every day. Like,
it would help,
in my opinion,
stress. I mean, like, do you know how difficult it is to try to build a conglomeration and an empire in a quasi-legal product? That has to be stressful. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine well, I remember as someone who was participant in the traditional market, I remember the stress levels of actually getting caught, and I still do sometimes. You still have this higher level of awareness sometimes that you can't dumb down. But at the same token, I really wish him the best, because maybe he'll step away from the business and just pursue, because he's a musician, he's an artist too, right? He's not just an empire builder with cookies, which it is. And granted, like I said, they're flushed. They're at MSO. They're in every state pretty much almost now, I think. So good on you, man. Take a break. Focus on yourself. Focus on the wellness. But it's hard to do.
I mean, if you got the money to take a break, take a break. But then, like, it's never too late. Well, maybe, depending on like how close you are to death. Maybe it's never too late to like adopt amazing habits for health and longevity.
Right.
But pizza
part of that
is delicious, and like cigarettes are addictive, and so like I don't want to get up and walk around. I'm gonna just kind of like lounge here and just chill. All those types of things that can contribute to worse health outcomes. They happen.
Right. Well, the stress thing too, kind of in conjunction with work, right? Like in America, or even like in, we make jokes about like, in Chinese 10-year-olds working, making our Nikes in iPhones.
Not
right?
mine. Shit.
Well, I'm just
Nikes, but I do get my pants at Costco, and I'll guarantee you those are made by like a Filipino guy.
But
$4. No.
Yeah, but quality of life is as an American to what we do for a living. This is why right now there's a great people figuring out what they want to do for a living. What is it? The great not job hiring or whatever, people quitting their jobs right now.
I don't know. I'm still of the opinion that most people are not paying me enough money, and so that's one opinion that it's going to be difficult for me to like shake. And so I hear about all these great job, like people. I don't need this job. I'm like, where are you guys getting paid? Do you guys not have businesses? Don't you have to realize you put out invoices? Some people pay, some people just ignore the invoice, like it's a suggestion, and then
Yeah, but you're also dealing with a lot of people who aren't entrepreneurs, right? Like you've got your own business, your own thing going on, right? Yeah. It's not cookies, but it's a thing, right? And it's something that's very hard to explain because you're in your own world of
I don't think
banking
you could
and law.
Do cookies in Illinois.
I guarantee you they will figure their way to get their
no, like as a startup. I don't think you could do cookies in Illinois. It's
No.
just too expensive to get into the market, and it would be just too difficult to, you just can't even acquire the license rights. And so you can acquire the license rights easier in an open market state like a Michigan. I think you could do cookies in Michigan or in Oklahoma, but I just think it would be very difficult in a limited market state like a Washington state or like an Illinois where they just don't have the licenses. It would be really difficult to do a cookies.
They can, because all cookies is a label. You know what I mean? Like all they'd say is, "Hey, GTI," because they're out here in Washington State. They were in here in Washington State even when just as a clothing line first. So
Right.
cookies,
Is Miggy out? So why do you think that cookies would be able to make it in like a limited market state like Illinois?
because it's all about the slapping a label on a weed package right now. This is all it's about. It's all if GTI were to say, "Hey, Berner, we'll give you $50,000 for us to use your brand," which could happen. Just use your labeling, right? And if it is about genetics, I mean, how did the seeds get there in the first place? You know, that's what I'm curious about too. I don't think it's about so much about genetics really as it anymore. It's more.
But how do you start up though? That's my thing about like.
There won't be a startup.
See, but that like cookies was to be able to start up in California because that label that he had and the availability of a small cannabis license, a small grower, a consortium of growers were able to acquire those licenses. You just can't do that in a state like Illinois or New Jersey or New York. Maybe we'll see how New York turns out. Don't get me wrong, but or Florida. Did you hear the news out of Florida?
Yeah, dude. So what is it? The Crist?
Crist, the governor, the guy who's running for governor, Charlie Crist, says he's going to legalize marijuana and expunge records as governor, according to the Tampa Bay Times.
At the Florida Capitol, Crist said revenue from state marijuana sales would pay for police agencies, drug treatment and diversion programs, and teachers.
Hey. Yeah, as part of his platform, which is focused on equality for Floridians of color, Charlie Crist announced Thursday that he would legalize marijuana and expunge criminal records for those arrested on misdemeanors or third-degree felonies related to the drug if he's elected governor next year. And so that's in 2022. And did you hear the cannabis licensing news out of Florida's medical marijuana market?
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting one. Florida paves way for black farmer for medical license.
Yes, that's right. Florida is so Florida when it comes to its social equity laws that they have a case on the books called Pigford versus Glickman. And so Glickman and Pigford were fighting. It was a class action lawsuit in the United States District against the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, alleging racial discrimination against African-American farmers in its allocation of farm loss loans and assistance between 1981 and 1996. And
just that small frame?
Hey, man, that's one of the things. A lot of people say that social equity violates 14th Amendment's protection against equal protection. And I go, yeah, it does, but it violates it in like the sweetest, nicest form. Have you seen the Pigford case, or have you seen like the home loans in the 30s, or have you seen separate but equal? Have you seen all these other things that were like fine and totally?
Have you heard about Black Wall Street? Have you heard about the what's the when the Civil War ended and where the goddamn filibuster came involved? Where
it wasn't reparations. It was restoration.
Restoration.
And then that was repealed basically by 1896, and then they had separate. And so all the black people that got elected to Congress were suddenly it's gone by the turn of the 20th century. Could you imagine that? Like now that you're going to be making them rich, yeah. So yeah, they have one frickin' license paves the way for a black farmer to get a license. But that's the problem when you have these types of Floridian style or East Coast style. The ATCs, the MMTCs, the marijuana treatment centers, the medical marijuana treatment centers, the alternative treatment centers, those types of marijuana licenses for medical marijuana in New Jersey, New York, or Florida are terrible. And this is why, because you have to be completely vertically integrated. So you have not reduced the barrier to entry. If anything, you made the barrier to entry impossibly high on purpose.
I'm curious though, is if this one black farmer is probably the only cannabis business in all of Florida that is just one person owned. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, you're. I think you're missing for the forest for the trees, dude. It still has to be an MMTC. It still has to be a medical marijuana treatment center. Just because the guy's black doesn't mean like he can do this in a strip mall. I mean, like, but there are dispensaries.
Well, no,
but he still has to comply with all the regulations.
Yeah. Right, but I mean, like he's a Floridian, like a Floridian, like he's.
For example, the application fee. Do you know what the non-refundable application fee is for this the black? And they're calling it the black farmer license, by the way. And there's a tremendous amount of interest in this black farmer license. But do you know what the application fee is?
I'm gonna shoot for $30,000.
$146,000. And so $146,000. And so there's 22 licensed medical marijuana treatment centers in Florida. Only 16 are in operation.
That's insane, dude. What? Such an odd number too. Well, where do you come up with 146,000? Like,
welcome to Florida.
Man. But you know, I think they will get legalization as long as they get a Democratic governor next, term, because both the Democrats running are both
that's true. Those are just Democrats, and then whoever wins has to face Governor Ron DeSantis, the man who in 2019 said, "Not while I'm governor," about legalizing marijuana. And so that's the most important thing. How does your administration line up with what the vote of the people is? Because the people would vote for it, but if the administration doesn't care, it ain't gonna get done. Oh my God, it's 4:20 somewhere. That's
a shocker.
Hurricane o'clock over here.
I don't care. It's 4:20 anyways.
That one was powered by Delta-8 pods. Have you heard about cultivating in pods, Miggy?
No, but
cultivating in pods is the future.
Is
according to people that cultivate in pods. They can expect 1.9 pounds per plant ish, or at least per light. It came out to, I was just doing their math earlier today. 61.1 grams per square foot, which is about 2 pounds of light. And they are self-contained. So if you want to be operational, if you've gotten a new grow and you have a deadline on your head, about 6 months to be operational, and you need to get that, pods like you can find from Delta-8 are one of the ways to do it. And they gave us a couple of passes to MJ BizCon, and a couple of people that watched the show won those. So they're going to be able to go out and meet the nice people from Delta-8 and their grow pods. But grow pods, is that the future? Maybe.
Right on. And they'll be at MJ BizCon. So we have a code for that too, to get, what is it, 10% off?
Oh yeah, we do. We do have a code. So if you want to go buy your ticket to MJ BizCon, do Vegas 10 with a capital V in Vegas, by the way, and then 10. And I will not see you there, unfortunately. I am stuck in Humboldt, California, becoming a certified ganjier. I wish that I was able to go. I'm going to blame this on Southwest Airlines being a bitch, because Southwest Airlines, they cancel everything.
You're going to have fun, dude. Trust me. It's a beautiful location. I think it's One Lodge is the name of the area.
Oh, yeah? Phenomenal. Do you want to see the, if we could, Lauren, if you would be so kind as to search at weather.com, the weather report for the next week in Humboldt, California, Humboldt County, and or Garberville, California. You'll see why I'm like, man, I am going to need to check a bag. I just don't think I'll be able to get around it. You were right, man. It's going to be cold and it's going to be rainy.
Oh yeah, dude. But it's just a gorgeous woodsy. Yeah, you're out in the woods, dude. It's I mean, that's the kind of atmosphere I like. It's a place where I enjoy smoking and hanging out and consuming various things.
I'm really excited about tasting Humboldt County cannabis. That is something that I'm looking forward to. So like right now it is 69 degrees. Today was like the nicest day ever out of the next few days when I'm actually there. Then like tomorrow, 47, 49, 54, 50, 53. Oh,
showers.
Wait, or is that hourly or is that each day? Oh my goodness.
Each day.
Oh no, this is bad. And so I will do my best to have like soup and warm socks.
You know what's funny, dude? When I was going through Humboldt, that was funny because most of the weed in Southern California is coming from Humboldt. 90%, I would say 90%. You know, the market. And when you're in Humboldt, billboards that I saw weren't showing me weed shops, but they were showing me like the bags suppliers. Like I've never seen that where like
turkeys and totes off Route 12.
Mylar bag for sale. Oh, shit, dude. I was like, shut the fuck up. So there's some good old boy farmer going, yep, that's it. That's a good choice. I'm gonna check that one out. I was just like mind blown. And then the other one was a Humboldt. First off, to brag that you're the best in Humboldt or be Humboldt's best, it's talking a lot of shit. You know,
well, that's why they have like all those emerald cups and the other cups in there. It's like, guys, everybody's been talking a lot of shit, so we're all going to blindfold taste test, and then somebody's going to win.
I mean, they're all good. Don't get me wrong. It's like fighting the best. I don't know, but
well, good is good, and then like having growing it correctly, and then going for what are you going for in that? That's one of the things that it's kind of like wine in that instance, in the sense that there's so many different ways that you can kind of present its flavors, and it's drunk is drunk in my opinion, but high is not high. Like high's got a different.
You're right, experience or and then the other thing was whenever I see on the marketing it says locally grown, I'm like, where the fuck else are you going to be from?
Yeah, fresh picked. Oh, you didn't wait until it was rotten before you picked it.
Well, I told you I smelled. If you go further north, I think you'll hit Flow Canna, which I smelt their activities going on off the 101. Yeah, 395 acres that they bought of a winery. It's a resort.
Damn. Oh, there is a dude that I need to follow up with, but he was maybe like depending on how much I have to study for the Ganjier. I mean, I took all the stuff, but then like all those courses that I watched, that was like 6 months ago. I have learned a lot since then and forgotten stuff that was like 6 months ago.
It could be fun, dude. Though, and I guess I'm a little jealous. You're going to see, by now they probably harvest though. So when you get there, their plants were hovering above a 6-foot fence that I could see from 100 feet away.
So, well, that's one of the things that we need to get the channel financially solvent enough to be able to fund Miggy to become a Ganjier. Now, I use this as marketing for my law and consulting firm, but boy,
we need it for just content. So if you want to donate and get me the play the plane ticket, I'll do it and record everything.
There's that.
So hey, what about the Ohio Police Department deletes post warning of downhill tumble if voters approve marijuana decriminalization? Marijuana moment. I talked about this briefly last week, just during the live, and yay, another reason why cops can't trust them, right? I mean,
well, they're saying that the Ohio Police Department shared and then just hours later deleted a Facebook post warning that an initiative to decriminalize marijuana that voters will decide on next month could be the beginning of a downhill tumble for society. And my only downhill tumble so far in Ohio, which is under a dispo window right now, by the way, has been its liquidity and real estate requirements. And it's closing fast. And so if you are somebody who's trying to get into Ohio and you have your real estate and you also have your zoning locked up, get in touch with me over at cannabisindustrylawyer.com or on Instagram at cannabisindustrylawyer, because we have a method that will be able to enhance your statistical odds of being awarded, at least becoming a landlord of one of those dispo licenses. It's been really difficult to be able to try to find real estate there. Many communities opt out. And so there's new licenses that are coming available in a particular area. And then you have to have zoning and you have to have real estate. And you're trying to look at all these counties and communities and like, no. And you're like, dang it. Does anybody have this real estate? And so like, our financial modeler and I worked on the statutory requirements for the financial model that you need, that you have to tender. And all of this stuff needs to be in by November 18th.
Wow.
It just stinks. And so like, I wish we had a pin on Google in Ohio right now. And then I also wish I had more time to just But
Oh.
finding these people is difficult. Finding the location because everybody opts out. And then, do you got a $250,000? Are you liquid $250,000, bro? You want to?
Oh yeah. Give me a minute. Let me come back at you on that one.
That's it. That's their financial requirements. And then it's like, hey, do you want to apply? That'll be $5,000 to apply. Oh, $5,000. Okay, I'll take 10.
Well, it's still better than 146,000 in goddamn Florida.
Yeah, well, what about the 1.75 million that guy did in Illinois to get all them licenses? 118 of them, by the way.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. But again, this just goes to show that, there is no fairness in this establishment of this market in any of these states so far. Like, I know some maybe come pretty close, but there's still so much mass, like, blatant non-transparency. Someone got paid off and is living a better life because they decided to sell these licenses instead of giving an equal opportunity to people.
I know. And like that's probably coming to Ohio, where the MacArthur Police Department, that's who shared this infamous Facebook post, which was later deleted. They said that they are not willing to endorse or recommend the passage of this levy. Society views may think that this is no big deal because it's just marijuana. However, this is only the beginning of a downhill tumble with regards to illegal drugs. And this is law enforcement's rants in MacArthur County Police Department. If the penalties continue to be decreased over time, then what chance does society have to combat the ever-growing drug problem facing our village and country? Well, this officer McIdiot, you see, you could be honest with your people about what the drugs actually do. But you can tell them. Yeah. This is how your body works. This is this drug. It does these things. Science doesn't lie about this, and your government doesn't lie about this. That would be fantastic to have.
Cops are being a morality police don't help real issues. This is not. It's not helping your children, right? Remember, I've talked about this as like the preacher's daughter syndrome. When people realize they've been getting lied to half the time, and then it's like, whoa, well, if marijuana is not so bad, let's try cocaine. I mean, it doesn't work that way, but it does.
Teach them. You didn't teach the kids, like, this is why people like to do cocaine. Well, it mimics this particular system in your body. And then that allows your reward center to go a little, out there. This is heroin. It tries to mimic these endorphins, and it can be extremely addictive. This is how nicotine works. Why don't we sit our children down and educate them? Why are we always like, oh my gosh, it's this? Close the children's eyes and cover their ears. Think of them, like protect them. It's like, well, you're not really protecting them by like keeping them perpetually ignorant, and so that you have stupid laws like this.
So we can control and pretty much just control an outcome of people. Like with Santa Claus or like you have to be married and have a family. Like, no, you don't have to do any of this shit. Live your fucking happy life without like. Just do your best. Right. Why do I gotta go?
Are you murdering your neighbor? Oh, you are not. Are you bothering anyone at all? Oh, you aren't. Well, then why is the government coming to tell you what to do?
Exactly.
How come, like, if you're in Texas, somebody be like, oh, that person wants to get an abortion. I'm going to have to go make a citizen's arrest by gummy and get my $25,000 reward or whatever the heck it is. You're like, that's the law? Are you kidding? And then, or if you just go to Nebraska and it's like, marijuana kills children. You're like, that's the governor? You're like, what the heck is this? Well,
it's having, keeping the conversation alive and going. Where you and I have been two functional citizens for the most part. I used to have hair, and was a dumbass, and now I'm just a bald dumbass. But I know a little bit more and more contributing.
Hats.
Yes, but we have that's, but like, it's like you. If I were to believe everything about the war on drugs and all the misinformation, my life would be in shambles right now. I mean, shit's in shambles because I've made stupid decisions, but cannabis had nothing to do with it, right? I've made worse decisions on drinking and alcohol. Where the next day I'm like, oh, that was bad, or drunk me is not the same as stoned me. Two different.
But yet, drunk you has far more rights than stoned you.
Yes,
and far more public acceptance.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? because of media perceptions and bullshit, like I think the internet has brought us to a point now, almost to a, and unfortunately though, we still have the whole QAnon thing, right? Like there's still a definite
The
amount of
internet
stupid
is
out
the
there.
birth of the metaverse, so
Right.
of course QAnon's going to be out there, and in some neither region of the metaverse where QAnon and the people that have believed in Comet Hale Bop and other cults are going to reside. It's going to be a very, very peculiar area, and I hope to never visit it, but I guarantee you it'll be there.
Oh no, I'm saying like something. These are again our fellow citizens. These are people that drive that have a driver's
Their
license.
vote counts
Exactly,
just as much as yours.
And that's why I try and do what I do to enlighten. I mean, how many times are we getting? I mean, the whole trolling the internet, like, we are being trolled by Russia, China trolls, right? That are trying to influence the conversation here in Americans, because there's a good portion of Americans that are just stupid. I hate to say this, some of you are listening to me right now, but you were believing everything that you hear, but because they're also going to be all mad at me, like. They're doing this thing right now called "fuck Kyle Brandon" or some shit like that. It means "fuck Joe Biden," but they're trying to be cute.
Whoa. Are any of these tripwires that are going to get us flat? Let's just continue on with the publicly approved news. And in stock news, we have a story. News.
Cannabis company Dutchie doubles valuation following new funding round. TechCrunch. Right on.
Damn, Dutchie, a 4-year-old company from Bend, Oregon. My college freshman roommate was from Bend, Oregon. Changes. It's a company that dispensaries use to have their inventory on their websites and fulfill orders. And there's a monthly fee for their services. They manage and create orders for them, and they've just completed their Series D round of funding, raising $350 million with a $3.75 billion valuation. The valuation and then all this other stuff just goes to show that Wall Street still does not understand how software works. But anyway, the new valuation is more than double what it was announced in March when Dutchie brought in $200 million in Series C funding at a $1.7 billion valuation. Which investment firm provided the valuation, by the way? At the time, the valuation was roughly 8 times the $200 million valuation that company had after closing on a $35 million Series B funding in last August. And this brings us to a very important part of cannabis legalization news. Don't forget to smash them likes and click subscribe if you enjoy Series A, B, or C fundings, not D's, but also them. And so every time you move up, but don't you understand how this ruse works, my friend? Every time you move up, when you take in more capital, suddenly when that closes, your valuation is huge. And suddenly, you know what you've done? Your investment at that buck is now worth $2 on that paper.
Yeah, my question is, so like they were valued at $1 billion or whatever, right? And they raised 10% of that billion to $375 million or whatever it was. 37. Is that 3.75 or that 350 million? Is that liquid? Is that something that, like, okay, if you and
cash, that's cash.
That's cash.
Yeah,
because they're going to devote, according to the article, they're going to devote 100 million to research, R&D, right? Like,
oh man, I wish I had control over $100 million of research and code. That would be the funk, man. I have to self-fund this crap, and I'm like, well, why do they have that? Oh, because they need to have that so that everybody. All right, we'll drop them and go over there. Let's start deploying this. And it's just, there are no fewer than 10 different dependencies you have to manage to be an internet business, especially an internet law firm in this day and age.
Well, we've been internet savvy for over 10 years now. And I think, like, well, we just suck at fundraising, apparently.
I live in Peoria, Illinois. It is the home to 0 billionaires. 0.
How do you go from Bend, Oregon to like these capital places? Are they just hanging out in New York then, or where does this occur? This is magic to me, like NFTs.
You guys have money in like San Francisco, LA, Seattle. You guys have money on the coast, and like Chicago has money, New York has money, Texas has money, Florida has money. Peoria, Illinois, $3.64.
I just don't get how a lot of these guys ripped off too. I just can't see like someone telling me here's
That
$100 million.
group goes in. And so they listen to these people. Listen to these investors. Tiger Global, Dragoneer, DFG Growth, Thrive Capital, Grand Ventures, Casa Verde Capital. New investors include Willoughby, Willoughby Capital, Glidden Capital, and Park West Asset Management. These are all hedge funds. These are all limited partnerships. So like the SVPs that I'm going to be doing in the East Coast to help the New Jersey people is this. So it's going to be fun. Like 2022, man, it is going to be, that would be a lot of fun to be able to have like, a podcast. And what do? He sets up hedge funds for cannabis companies.
I know that. I know there's retarded money out there. I mean, I'm surrounded by it in tech. I like to call it cocaine money because it just like these people have so much money, like drug dealer money. They have to spend it, and that's what people don't understand.
Have to spend it. That's or like they don't. They need to look into arbitrage opportunities where they deploy that capital into other asset holdings that then can pay them back over time, and they can all become family offices.
Right. Yeah. But there's so much tangible, like real cash though. Like when they find what is it, El Chapo, right? Like buried bills of money that degrade and decompose. Like some of these companies.
My dad was just telling me a story about the Secretary of State of Illinois back when Richard Daley was the mayor of Chicago. So this would have been like the early 70s. The guy died. He was a Secretary of State like Jesse White is right now. I'm not saying this is going to happen to Jesse White, but when he died, there was just shoe boxes of hundreds, like in a room. Just like imagine you have a bedroom and it's just shoe boxes filled with $100 bills for like various licenses and for various other things that the Secretary of State has the authority to give.
Oh, sure. I can see that.
If you're dead.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much money that people don't even know about. That's never on the books. Like, and then speaking of though, I'm kind of been amazed by that. Reuters has been publishing a lot of cannabis pot stories.
Give us a Reuters or Reuters.
Reuters. Is it Reuters? Reuters.
Yeah, it's Reuters. It's Reuters. Yeah, they do news and they can snake your drains.
Canopy eyes U.S. expansion with weed gummies maker Wana Brands acquisition.
Yep. So
Canada's Canopy Growth Corp Weed.to, I guess that's their stalker, said that Thursday. Toronto Exchange. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. It would buy weed gummies maker Wana Brands for $297.5 million as the world's largest pot producer looks to expand in the U.S. market. So, is that $297 million cash again, my friend? Is that what that is?
That was $297 million cash. Now, sometimes when they have these types of transactions, they will be what they call cash and stock. And then other times they have a lot more stock, and that stock may have a lockout period. That would have really sucked if like Harvest would have consummated with Trulieve, because right now, like all the cannabis stocks are just in the cellar. They are just so low, and it's like, wow, they're actually at like 52-week lows. It's neat. If anybody's interested in buying cannabis stocks.
Well, at that price, I would just like to Wana Brands. Like if I created Wana Brands, like Bravo, I would walk away, dude. Like I would totally sell anything I just created for $297 million. I don't care how popular it was. Like if it was, if it was cookies, I'd be like, I'm done. Here, take whatever this is that I just created.
Then why are you here? What is
you'll never hear from me again. My purpose is $297 million.
Elon Musk would have laughed as well, I'm sure. Even like, you just would have taken the $297 million but robot.
But yeah, demand for pot edibles such as gummies has been rising during the pandemic as people stuck at home turn to cannabis-related products for relaxation and entertainment. Again, recession-proof. Cannabis is recession-proof.
Cannabis is a consumer staple. Cannabis is a cheeseburger, and so like they sell themselves, and people need them all the time. Which is kind of cool. And so if you're in a consumer staple business, that is something that by its nature is recession proof. You're going to still buy the toothpaste. You need the toothpaste. You're going to still buy the stuff you need.
It's a wellness cheeseburger though. Because if you say cheeseburger, it makes it like because your arteries can clog up and shit.
How about dinner? Let me just call it dinner. You're gonna need to buy dinner,
But it's also more about your endocannabinoid system too. It's about balance. It's about like a wellness overall.
Yeah, but you don't have to buy health. You
Yeah.
do have to buy fun. I think people like at least Americans have to buy fun. Maybe the people in North Korea they don't have the money to buy food. Why would they buy fun? And I just think that it's one of those that cannabis is a product that is a consumer staple, and that people, when times are good, you can celebrate with it. When times are bad, you can use it to relieve stress. It's exactly like its more dangerous cousin, alcohol.
That's true. I mean, it is a thing that you can use to escape, but it also at the same time while you're escaping, you're enabling your endocannabinoid system, and you don't know what you're missing.
Yep.
But we got a game.
Oh,
that's true. Since we're not live, we're going to play a game, you guys, a little trivia game. Basically, I'm going to say some brand names, and you guys are going to tell me if they're real. Celebrity cannabis brand names. How's that sound?
That's great. I'm just going to use my templing. This is a power move called templing. When you use that while going like, that's a real one. It's fake
Word.
name. Fake name. Yeah, I'm going to work on that. Yeah.
All right, we got 5 questions. First one: Soulja Boy's Soulja Exotics. Real or fake?
Because that's Atlanta too, and he's based out of Atlanta, right?
Then it's fake because Atlanta has no weed.
Well, you're right. I would say fake too.
It's real.
Really?
Soulja Exotics, yep.
See, you always got to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to go with the other.
What state is he in? I mean, what state is the weed in?
Good question. Let me check real quick.
Sure.
California.
See, that's what it is. California's got that low barrier to entry. Somebody has a license. I got no way to sell it. Soulja Boy's like, I'd like to sell some weed. Okay, Soulja Boy, let's get you an IP licensing agreement so you can have a packaging fee of our product.
Yeah. Look at white label.
Next one: Jennifer Aniston's brand, A Friend Indeed.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. But I think that one's fake. I thought she was going to do a CBD thing though.
Yeah. I also think it's fake as hell. But at the same time, just from like last round, I'm going to hedge my bets and say it's real.
It's fake. Doesn't exist. She does support weed, but she doesn't have a brand yet.
That'd be a good one.
Next one: DJ Khaled's Bless Well. Bless Well.
Oh my God, it's probably real though.
That does sound like something DJ Khaled would say, but I'm going to say it's fake.
It is real. CBD brand.
I just he gets on my nerves, dude. Just like DJs.
Another one?
I get who you are, man. You don't have to say
Another
it fucking
one.
10 times, too.
Another one. Yeah.
And now when I fucking hear his weed, I'm like, DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled. And then does he say another one?
Oh my God.
He does.
Okay, 2 more. Megan Fox and MDK's Bud of the Blood. Or
that
Bud
sounds
of My
fake
Blood.
as crap. That sounds like somebody I would like to see the publicist who made that up.
Yeah, I would say no, but because they're too new.
True. Fake.
Woo!
Say that up. And the last one, Rihanna's. Say what?
Oh, they're too new as a couple. I'll give it a minute though. Somebody with some money is gonna be like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, totally. They're gonna have one within the next 3 years, I bet.
You made it happen, Lauren. No, just talking about it.
And Rihanna's brand, Marijuana. Marijuana.
Rihanna should have her own brand of weed. Like she uses.
I want to believe she has.
She should be getting paid for it. But what was the name of the purported Rihanna's brand of marijuana?
Marijuana.
Marijuana. Is that spelled with like
Marijuana.
an H?
It's like Rihanna, but it has an M and an A in the front.
I'm going to say that's real. I just don't think it should be.
I want to believe it's real.
It is fake. There was speculation in 2015, but it was all rumors.
All rumors.
All rumors. And that is the game. We don't have a name for it. I don't
know. What about that meme of her like on her bouncer's shoulders, rolling a joint on his head?
Iconic.
Is that real?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you see, if that's real, I can't believe the other one was fake. But anyway.
Seriously.
That's the world we live in.
She's a like cannabis queen, like anybody that.
What do you mean she doesn't have a brand? I'm shocked.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, you know, I guess she'll definitely won't have a brand in Utah though. Some
Nope.
Utah cannabis patients swear off Delta-8 THC. The Salt Lake Tribune.
Salt Lake Tribune is reporting about Mitch Butterfield, who relies on cannabis to cope with stress of his terminal cancer diagnosis, was the first customer through the doors of his local marijuana pharmacy when it opened last year. And although the Smithfield resident has been using the medicinal plant for about 9 years, he walked out of the pharmacy with a treatment he never heard of before, Delta-8.
I think this is the problem with regulation, right? Like, is Delta-8 being sold in their pharmacies or whatever they want to call their pot shops, their dispensaries? Because if it is, if they're selling Delta-8 CBD and they're lumping it all to one thing, it's kind of messed up because now you're just kind of like misinforming the consumers with a bunch of stuff at one time, right? Like whole plant first, and then really whole plant all the time. If you can select,
Well,
But
I don't know about this Mr. Butterfield, because the fact pattern gets a little bit more interesting as we dive into it. And so if you are a listener or a viewer that has partaken in Delta-8, let me know if any of this sounds true. So he goes to the pharmacy, and then a couple of days later, he tries the vape that he had just purchased that day, as opposed to like using it that day. He noticed something was off almost immediately upon trying to use this vape. He says, within 2 minutes, I was just yawning, just yawn after yawn after yawn, he says. And then I either fell asleep or passed out. And then he would regain consciousness on the couch a few minutes later and felt puzzled about what had just happened to him. He then goes on to quote, that wasn't even a high, he says. I've never felt anything like that. Now, Mr. Butterfield, which is also a fairly made-up sounding name, by the way, initially waves it off the reaction as an adjustment to a new cannabis treatment or a crash after an exhausting workday. Then the following night, the same thing happened to him all over again. And he said that this cost him his trust in Utah's medical cannabis program. Now, in Utah, Delta-8 is cheaper than plant-derived THC. And as a result, it has become something that the pharmacies for medical cannabis in Utah are now using as a cheaper alternative, evidently.
that's what it sounds like. But still, it seems like they're just being misguided, and it could be. Oh shoot! Did we freeze up again? Their market, though, I'm just curious because, again, misinformation and education is what's needed in cannabis and in the circles to end the stigma, right? If this Chuck Nuts is going to say, like, oh, I took Delta-8 and it was this horrible experience, well, it's not just for you. That's all. Just like weed's not for everybody. Like CBD is not for everybody. None of this is a Band-Aid. We're all the endocannabinoid system. We're all individual snowflakes. Some of us are softer than others, but again, each time we consume, we're not all the same. Some of us are fat and out of shape. Some of us are fit. But
some of us like to go over to articles about Oregon. So,
oh goodness.
Overwhelmed by illegal weed, Oregon County declares an emergency. According to the Associated Press, in Salem, Oregon, a county in southern Oregon, says that it's been overwhelmed by an increase in the number and size of illegal marijuana farms, so much so that it declared a state of emergency on Wednesday. And it's appealed to the governor and the leaders for help. The Jackson County Board of Commissioners said law enforcement officers and county and state regulators and code enforcers are overwhelmed and warned of an imminent threat to public health and safety of our citizens from the illegal production of cannabis in our county.
Can't believe this is a real statement. Jackson County strongly requests your assistance to address this emergency, the commissioner said in a letter to Governor Kate Brown, Senate President Peter Courtney, and House Speaker Tina Kotek.
You sound like the people that would show up with a urine test in tow. As you can see, I know what I'm talking about. IP clean.
The illegal marijuana farms are often posing as legal hemp farms. The commissioners noted the Oregon health. That's just weird. No, you know what? I think if they are hemp, that's the problem. Again, you could stress a plant to become hemp or to become cannabis by just different factors.
No, man. I mean, the cultivars that are out there, they're the cultivars, and so you can make flowers outdoor, and those flowers are going to look like a certain way. I don't think that hemp cultivars look as silver and frosty as type 1 cannabis cultivars.
Right.
And so like they're the banana, I'm calling it purple banana because, like, shout out to Purple City Genetics out of Oakland. Thank you for the seeds and for the it is banana OG cross with purple punch. So it has a very slurricane-esque look to its nuggets, and they're very, very silvery, but I don't see that when I look at hemp. And like hemp, though, like if you saw like, let's say it's not like a very silvery THC laden nugget, and it's just more a regular one, like a blueberry or something. I don't know if I'd be able to differentiate the blueberry from like a lifter or an AC/DC, a really nice CBD flower out there.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I get you. I just think this is some kind of fear mongering.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. The Josephine County has also been hurt by illegal grows that have drained creeks and siphoned groundwater. These are environmental issues that, like, yeah, I agree. Like, we shouldn't be draining creeks and rerouting rivers and stuff.
None of all this would go away. All this demand would go away if the United States would get off its duff and realize that cannabis is not heroin.
Yeah.
And if cannabis is not heroin is in federal law, and it should be, because cannabis is not heroin. Heroin killed 90,000 people last year in our country, and cannabis killed 0. Well, and yet they are the equal. And so that's stupid. And it never should have been that way. And so if they would just change the federal marijuana laws, like Oregon is no longer going to be this place where they can grow all this stuff and then export it. It's not going to an Oregon dispo.
Oh yeah. Well, again, the Oregon borders Nevada. Nevada needs weed. Like there's a yin and yang just right there for commerce to happen, right? And I'm sure like what is it, the laws of business, right? There's the need, right? There needs to be a need, and so like you just can't make things like a cheeseburger. Like it sucks when they try and make like a cheeseburger addictive versus like let's just feed hungry people in the local area.
I don't know, man. Have you ever like eaten anything from any type of food producer? I will guarantee you they have done market research on the addictivity of like your Oreo cookies.
Oh yeah,
or something like that, where it's just, if that is a packaged good food product, they have engineered that food to try to get you to be addicted to it so that you continue to buy their food.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with like well-being and health. It has to do with like, hey, we need you
Buy
to
our
come back.
food.
Yeah. Whereas legalization would just expand markets, expand wellness, give consumers an educated chance. It's amazing what they got going on. There's the I sent a link for the Green Street, Los Angeles, the Epicenter cannabis business. So it's like a diner that they do like events with cannabis consumption. 50% of the world's top cannabis companies and brands all under one roof. 70,000 square foot, 9 floors, 100% dedicated to cannabis. Like the live footage I've seen from this place, it was like, this is what heaven's like. An award-winning restaurant group, an art gallery, retail space, co-working suites, brand showrooms, buyer's lounge, content studio, plus a state-of-the-art consumption-friendly penthouse and rooftop and event space. The one thing that's said about California is Humboldt is where you're going to get the weed, and that whole area. LA is where you're going to get the culture. And this sounds like a magnificent place that will be a place to go visit, man.
Sounds like a limited partnership for me, man. That was like a $10 million building at least. And so like, who's the guy behind that? Like, that's not, I mean, that's a very bougie offering, and that's fine, but at the same time, like, man, that is spendy. But
there's beer places.
Exactly. There's you can go to Chicago and see a swanky ass bar and be like, what kind of idiot spends $5 million at a bar? And be like, oh shit, you're the owner. Well, it's a lovely place. Me, honky tonk, whatever.
No, I'm a big fan of dive bars, but like, I just think Just like the event, I'll be co-hosting or emceeing. I don't know what I'm doing on November
You should
4th.
call it co-hosting or emceeing.
I don't know. I mean, whatever. It's gonna be a party, and I'm gonna be there to hang out. But that functional cannabis glass is in a display. Like you can visit it, and bougie ass you can spend $5,000 if you want.
Do it.
On a, yeah, you know.
You should, and you should do that like open and notoriously, so other people see you buying it. That's the only way that you can have your money give you, gratification of recognition of accomplishment. You know, when other people go like, "Oh, you paid $4,000 for that. Very nice, interesting." Yeah.
Dude, I've always thought glass is just art as it was. Like, there's some beautiful pieces out there, and so it's just cool to see it more in mainstream now. Like, there's people who pay some of those apartments.
Still got flagged. You know, like you did that thing yesterday, and like, and so I just hopped on real quick and did a roundup about New Jersey. They just hit up a whole bunch of licenses. So cheers to everybody in Jersey that just got a license. Shout out to Blue Medicinals, they were one of them. But then also, now it looks like Jersey's probably going to get their license opportunity here in a bit.
Yeah, no, let's get another good market popping up. I mean, we're slowly going by, but I don't think legalization. I think state by state will happen faster before federal. Still.
Oh, I think we have a bit. We got just a bit.
It's an exciting time for weed.
Yeah.
Things are moving. Love to see it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to keep up with all cannabis legalization news. We will see you on Wednesday or Sunday.
Wednesday or Sunday.
Wednesday.
It sound right, boys.